Hey there, Optimize Self Ninjas and Ninjets. This is Justin Archer, aka Sensei, coming to you live from, well, the office. We'll just put it that way. I know that was anticlimactic. Anyways, here today with episode 6 of the Optimize Self show. And today we're going to be going over something called the Optimized Self test. I'm going to share with you how you can take this test. And what it's great at is helping you uncover what's holding you back. What specific foundation of health, what aspect of your life are you lacking in, or maybe have overlooked, or just haven't addressed or fully optimized that's keeping you from attaining whatever is your goal is that you're striving for, whether it's getting out of lower back, hip, knee, whatever pain, whether it's losing weight, building muscle, getting over some illness or disease or something like that. What's the lowest common denominator, the low-hanging fruit that we can go after. So I'm going to share with you how to do that, and also how we can apply that to along with lifestyle design on how to correct things like hip flexion, loosen up tight lower back, return your hip flexors to their natural length and tension, and how lifestyle and your parents actually affect your posture, more precisely the positioning of your feet. All right, so all this and more coming up on today's episode. So if any of that sounds of interest to you, then definitely stay tuned. I'm going to go switch over to the camera so you guys can see me here in a bit. But before I do, for any of you tuning in for the first time and you're going, okay, what is the Optimize Self show? What is this all about? Well, basically, it's a show. As you can see, a little ninja there is gesturing towards the logo. Well, I guess he's part of the logo technically. The show is all about kind of bringing people together in an effort to rediscover health, upgrade fitness, and optimize wellness, all while having fun, kicking ass through lifestyle design. And that lifestyle design part, that last part, is really important because instead of putting on what I refer to as the single factor focus blinders on and focusing just on exercise or just on diet, probably the top two things that people focus on, and usually, unfortunately, just exercise, not even the diet, but some people do both. Instead of focusing on just one or two things, we're going to zoom out and look at your lifestyle as a whole. We're going to look at and treat your body as a unit, because exercise doesn't live inside of a bubble, and diet doesn't just live inside of a bubble. Your exercise and diet have to do with one another, as well as all the other foundations of your health, being your breathing, hydration, sleep, nutrition, stress, movement, exercise, environment, mindset, all that and more interrelate with one another and have a positive or negative influence on each other. And on a previous episode, we talked about, and I repeat this a lot, and it definitely bears repeating, so I'll say it once more before we get started, is that it's important to always keep in mind that your body is a stimulus response organism that's responding to stimulus 24/7 without prejudice. All right, which means then it's what you do the majority of the time that matters, not your best intentions. So what does that all mean? That means that no matter how well your intentions may be to do 30 minutes of corrective exercises to help your hip or your back or whatever, it cannot, and it's unfair to expect it to outweigh what you do the other 23 and a half hours. Again, how you breathe, what you drink, how much of it you drink, how you sleep, the environment you sleep in, the position you sleep in, things like stress, distress, eustress, or bad and good stress, how you train your body and your mind to react to that stress, movement, also your environment, how you interact with things, the shoes you wear, the chair you sit on, the car you drive, how you have your seat and your mirrors in your car set up, how you have your workstation set up. All of that is going to affect the quality of your well-being at any given time of the day or of the year or of your life, more so than the 30 minutes of exercise. That's not to say that exercise is not important, because it is, of course it is. But unfortunately, a lot of people have been misled to believe that exercise is the fastest way, the straightest line between point A, where you currently are, to point B, where you want to be. And unfortunately, that's just not the case. Believe you me, I wish sometimes it was, that you can have a pie or some ice cream or maybe some foods that you might even consider healthy, but you find out you actually have some food intolerances or food sensitivities to, but you could just out exercise it. Oh my gosh, that would be wonderful. But unfortunately, it's not. And, I always tell people I didn't come up with the body. I simply learned how it works and abide by that and tried to share with you and other people how everything works together so you could sidestep some of the biggest pitfalls that myself and others unfortunately have had to make, mistakes and failures and things we've had to go through, so that you can get from where you currently are to where you want to be as fast and efficient and as simply as possible. Okay, so I know that was kind of a long-winded answer as to what this show is all about, but with that said, let's go ahead and get started. Okay. Hey there, for those of you meeting me for the first time, I'm actually going to, because I'm rather new at this Google Hangouts thing, haven't figured out yet a way to have a lower third down here, custom made and stay. I'm working on it. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna make one, a very simple one here, and I can leave it up, all right? That's the typing you hear is actually me making it. So thank you for bearing with me here as I stumble through this process. Oops. Boom, there we are. Now you know who I am and where you can find me over at optimizedself.ninja. All right, so let's get into the questions. If I look kind of off screen or off camera here, it's because I have some guidelines, not exactly a script, but just guidelines, so I don't go off into multiple tangents, which I've been known to do. Okay, cool. So we got the introduction out of the way. Let's go on to going over what this optimized self test is, because I'm going to be referring to it later on in the show, probably multiple times. So I want you to know what it is. You're not like, what the heck is the test? What's he talking about? Okay. Now, hopefully that lower third is going to stay, because I'm going to go to a screen share and I'll show you what it's about. Okay. And sorry about the matrixy deal there. So if you go to optimizeself.ninja, you'll find the Optimized Self show and a playlist here, right, of all the episodes up to episode 5. After this one's posted, episode 6. Great, awesome. Most of you watching already know that. If you don't, now you know. And down below, you'll find information all about what's inside the Optimized Self Dojo. And I'm not going to go through all that because there's a lot in there, basically a lot of tools, guides, resources that you can find in this kind of private accountability / support group that I've put together. Awesome stuff. There's over $3,650 worth of, like I said, tools, guides, and resources. You can take a look-see over at optimizeself.ninja, and you can get started now. Actually, I believe right now the membership is up to $11 or $12. After every membership, it goes up by $1, and there's 365 available for 2015. So shameless plug there, but just want to let you know. And I'm going to share with you a little bit later why I want you guys to join and sign up. Simply put, it's so that I can help you to the best of my ability, as well as the other ninjas and ninjettes that are already in there hanging out. But below the video player is this button here. It says click here to take the Optimized Self test and uncover what's holding you back. You click that, up pops a little ninja guy, tells you to sign up here. My email is already in there because I've already signed up, but you'll put your email in there. Okay, you'll hit take the test now. You will be taken to a confirmation page. Tells you to check your inbox. You check your inbox. You confirm that you get it. There's a whole process. It takes you through this step by step. Trust me, it takes like a couple seconds. And then you get an email that takes you to a link of the Optimized Self test. And it's a pretty simple Google form here. I apologize if it's not pretty. I haven't got a chance to pretty it up. My wife is the graphic designer, so I'm sure she'll help me make this look just absolutely lovely. But it is functional. It does work, and that's the thing. So we'll work on pretty. So here it says, it's basically welcome. And the point of this is to have you fill it out and help you uncover what's holding you back. Because a lot of people ask me questions, mostly which that are exercise based. And granted, that's not just their fault. That's my fault, because for those of you that don't know, I have another website, which I don't really work on anymore, but it's still up to help people, called The Posture Guy. And it's all about using exercise, corrective exercises, to help people get out of pain. All right. The Optimize Self.Ninja, the show, the dojo, everything included in the ecosystem is a little bit broader, but more lifestyle based. Okay. And I wanted to do this because I wanted to share with you that, again, it's not just about the exercise. As a matter of fact, it's the least amount about exercise. It's really everything else in your lifestyle, because those things you do more, right? Most people are lucky if they get half an hour or an hour of exercise. Again, it's what you do the other 23 or 23 and a half hours that matters the most. So I'll quickly take you through this optimized self-test. You put your name, your email, cool. And then on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the best, how would you rate your breathing, right? So you rate it 1 to 10. Let's say you think you're an 8. Hydration. Oh gosh, I don't really drink that much water. I'm a 3. Sleep. I sleep, pretty good most nights. A little better than half. So okay, let's go 6. Nutrition. Let's say 5. Stress. Oh gosh, I'm a stressaholic. Let's put. Or actually, I'm sorry. 9 would be good. So let's say 2. I'm a stressaholic. Movement. I don't move that much. So maybe 4. Exercise. Oh yeah, exercise a lot. Environment, maybe it's good or bad, depending on what you have around you. Mindset, maybe I'm optimistic but skeptical at the same time. Okay, there you go. Now, of course, you can take more time, but it's pretty quick, right? Just on a scale from 1 to 10, pretty easy. And then it asks, how do you know what you know? And the reason I ask this to people when I'm asking these things in person, is because I always ask them, this isn't to pick a fight or anything, but it's what's the measuring stick that you're using to test, measure, and track the quality of the above. These are being the foundations of your health. Because a lot of times, especially say something like nutrition, if I ask someone, oh, how's your nutrition or how's your diet? People say, oh, I eat clean. Okay, well, what the heck does that mean? I mean, you don't eat off the ground, or you wash your food. What does that mean? You eat clean. That saying is very vague and relative. Same thing as I eat healthy. Well, what's healthy to me may not be healthy to you, and vice versa, depending on things like our epigenetics, meaning where we're from, where our family's from, our tolerances or sensitivities to certain foods. So there's certain guidelines, there's certain principles, but I always like to ask people, oh, well, how do you know these things? If I tell you, for example, nutrition-wise right now, I'm a 9 or an 8 or something like that, and I can say, oh, because I've done elimination diet, I've tested this in conjunction with the Food Journal, also used Dr. Coco's pulse test in conjunction with that. It's kind of a second opinion. Haven't done a blood test yet, but I'm looking to do it. And, I can go on and on. We'll keep this short, but those are ways that I could confirm or verify my thoughts, beliefs, and things like that. Okay, so you can put that in there. And then through this, what did you learn about yourself? Which foundation health did you score lowest on? And it says even here, this is most likely the cause / biggest contributor to your symptoms, then the next lowest, and so on and so forth. So maybe, let's say sleep, okay, 6, maybe you were a 1 or a 2, and that was the lowest out of everything. Let's switch stress back up to 3. So let's say sleep was the lowest. Well, that's probably where you can make the biggest improvement, right? Even just getting 1 or 2 hours more sleep is going to get a lot more than, say, if you're on exercise a 9, you're going to get way more of taking your sleep from a 2 to a 5 than you will going from exercise from 9 to a 10. All right. And believe it or not, effort does not equal results. As I always say, hard work, although respectable, should be left, I believe, as a last ditch effort. I admire and respect hard work ethics and everything, but I'd much rather work smart and then hard. Quite frankly, honestly, I would avoid hard work and just try to work smart, but at least work smart before adding on the hard work. Okay. So that'll help you figure out which of the foundations health you need to focus on the most. Then definitely write them down so you know in which order that you need to work on things. You can leave, if there's anything else that you feel, think, or believe is contributing to holding you back from being your optimized self. Anything else you'd like to add in there, that'd be great. And then in the final steps, this is where you can ask me questions, because hopefully the questions above kind of caused you to kind of self-reflect and look at, how is my lifestyle? How's my breathing, hydration, sleep, nutrition, stress, movement, exercise, environment, mindset, and any other contributing factors accumulatively adding up to your current state of well-being, whether it's good or bad, right? Whatever symptoms you're dealing with, whatever goals that maybe you're trying to achieve but you're struggling with, any of that stuff, if you have questions, that's where you can ask me here, and you can even ask me, what have you struggled with in the past? You can ask me a question here, one more here, and I can answer your questions on an upcoming episode of the Optimized Self Show, which is live, just like here. And you're more than welcome to even come on live with me, and we can have the discussion live. But I think then, after I have this, and I'll be able to see your answers on a spreadsheet, I will be able to give you better quality answers because I'll have more information on you. A lot of people say, Justin, my hip hurts. What do I do? Or my knee turns out this and that. Well, I can give you some exercise selections, but I can give you a much better answer if I have more information, regarding your lifestyle, like the questions above kind of, make mention to. Okay. And then just a question about, what would you like to see in your inbox from optimizedself.ninja? That's me. And, sharing with your friends and family. That's pretty much it. It only takes a few minutes to fill out. Okay. And I think that actually covers it, but that's the Optimized Self test. And let me go ahead and stop this, bring this back to me. Cool, the little lower third thing stayed. That's great, that's awesome. So if you haven't already, even if you're inside the Optimized Self Dojo, which is kind of the kind of private group, if you will, definitely I would recommend you go sign up and take that test. Okay. In addition, you'll also be kept up to date with episodes of the Optimized Self Show as they come out, as well as some kind of special content, private Q&As, giveaways, things like that, all kinds of cool stuff. So some other incentives to sign up. But really, Optimized Self Test is going to help evaluate your lifestyle, not just your exercise, because I think those are the missing components there. It's the rest of your lifestyle, not just the exercise or a diet. And again, that will give me more information so that I could answer your questions and give you better recommendations as to how you should proceed to, whether it be you're trying to rediscover your health, upgrade your fitness, or optimize your wellness, whichever the case may be, how to best go about that. Okay. So hopefully that gives you kind of a clear idea of what the Optimized Self Test is. I'm gonna grab some water. I suggest you guys do the same. And then we'll get on to, we got 4 questions today. We'll get on to the first one and go from there, all right? Okay. Let's see, Derek Velasky. I see ski, I hear ski, I think Polish. My wife is Polish. Derek, I don't know if you're Polish or your parents are, but if you are, we just got back actually from Poland. We were there for about 7 months, so absolutely love it. We're staying in Chechanów, if you know where that is. But enough travel. We should do a whole travel episode sometime. See, tangents. Anyways, Derek Velasky from YouTube asks, do you have a video for how to correct hip flexion? If you guys don't know what hip flexion is, flexion is in front of the body. So when you close a joint, like that would be hip flexion, whereas putting your leg behind you would be hip extension. Okay, just so we're clear on that. He says, I can't get my hips forward, and that has resulted in all my lumbar discs starting to bulge. I also sit 8 hours a day, so I know that doesn't help. I've been trying to solve this back pain for 5 years now, since I was 20. It's a long time, the 5 years. But just found out a year ago that it was my hip flexors, and I just need to get them loose. Any help would be great. All right, Derek. Yeah, I can help you out with that. So first of all, so that in a future episode I can give you even better better feedback, better recommendations, I would definitely recommend you head on over to optimizeself.ninja and take the Optimize Self test that I just went over with you. Okay. And, there's 7 foundations of health. Okay. There, and I'm going to get into some exercise stuff with you too. But again, I cannot stress it enough that it's what you do the majority of the time that matters, not your best intentions. And so seeing as how you're probably not going to be doing exercise for 12 hours and 1 second or more per day, you're going to be more often, the frequency and the repetition of your breathing, hydration, sleep, nutrition, stress, and movement are going to be more than your exercise. I always like to address those first because, quite frankly, they're more important. Okay. Especially the first 3: breathing, hydration, and sleep. That's what I refer to as stage 1. Did you see? I don't know if you're Polish, but by being in Poland, I'm doing this thing, which I know in America usually do this. And I was born in America, but we were just in Poland for 7 months, and they count 3s like this. They use the thumb as 1, which I thought is weird, but I guess being there long enough, I do this too. Anyways, again, Derek, I don't know if you are from Poland or anything. You might be just going to get to the point. So yeah, I like to talk about the first 3 foundations of health: breathing, hydration, and sleep. And that's because it's what I refer to as stage 1. Those 3, when I work with people one-on-one or they bring me on as a retainer, we always work on optimizing those 3 foundations of health first, because that's what everything else is built upon. That's kind of what I consider the rediscovering your health. Okay, and that has to happen before upgrading fitness, and those 2 have to happen before optimizing your wellness, which is the combination between health and fitness. Okay, so breathing. Well, so you might be thinking, okay, well, what does my breathing have to do with, my hip flexors and not being able to get into hip extension, being stuck in hip flexion? Well, your primary breathing muscle, your diaphragm, right, actually ties into your lower back and hip flexors as well as your pelvic floor. So it actually goes from here down the side. Excuse me 1 second. I'm going to move this window because I can't see where I'm pointing. It actually goes all the way through here, through the pelvic floor, and actually ties into your lower back where you're having the bulging discs. Okay. And it also basically interconnects, interweaves with your hip flexors, primarily your psoas major, which is the biggie of the hip flexors, right? So learning to breathe diaphragmatically is huge. Now, what I mean breathing diaphragmatically, I mean breathing east to west. So instead of breathing up here, right, up in the chest and shoulders, thoracically and clavicularly, up and down like this, okay, which would be fine if you were running from a cheetah or something, but seeing as how that probably isn't the case most of the time, unless you live on a cheetah ranch or something and they're regularly chasing you, you should be, when you're standing, walking, sitting, be breathing from the diaphragm. And what that looks like, let me stand up so I can show you here. If you put your hands on your hips, kind of like Superman or Superwoman, right? Or I think Wonder Woman does this too. I don't know. And you breathe in. As you inhale, it should go out to the sides. So not just belly breathing, so that this goes out. So it's not so your belly goes this way, right? Which is going to probably where it wants to go, path of least resistance. You want to breathe laterally, east to west, okay? And if you're lying on the ground, you'll probably, on your back, you'll even feel when you do that, your lower back expand towards the ground, probably flatten out a little bit. So learning to breathe like that, diaphragmatically, is going to be a big help because it's going to internally massage your hip flexors, your lower back, and your pelvic floor. Seeing as how the average human takes 22 to 30,000 breaths per day, that is 22 to 30,000 little pulsating massage, basically inhaling, exhaling, mobilizing that lower back, releasing the tension in the hip flexors as well as the pelvic floor, that you wouldn't be getting if you're breathing up here. You're also getting more blood and oxygen to that area to loosen everything up. So breathing is huge. Okay. The second thing is hydration. If you have tight, knotted up, matted down, just gunked up beef jerky like tissue, well, what is beef jerky? It's dried up, dehydrated meat, right? So you need to hydrate. Bare minimum, we're talking half your body weight in ounces of pure water. Now, I don't say fluids because some people would then include milk and juices and things like that. We're not even going to go into that today of why those things shouldn't be included, but let me just say, don't include those things, okay? So if you want to drink other fluids, I'm not going to say no right now, but just don't include the total amount through water. So half your body weight in ounces of water, of pure water. Drink that, and what that'll do is help take that beef jerky-like tissue, gunked up mass that you're trying to feed slack to, and allow it to become more of a pliable, malleable. You know what I'm saying? Kind of more like filet mignon, right? So hydration is important. And then sleep too. Especially the position you sleep in is very important to feeding slack to your hip flexors. So if you can lay straight on your back, that's great. If you find that you find yourself rolling to one side or your knees and feet turning out, take 1 or 2 pillows and put them under your lower leg, like just below the knee joint on the back. And what that'll do is put you just enough hip flexion that it feeds some slack to the hip flexors and puts your pelvis and your lower back more in a neutral position. So 1 or 2 pillows under the legs, 0 to 1 pillow under the head, and that will help take that pelvis back to neutral position and feed slack to your hip flexors, okay? Also, so I did forget one thing in the breathing. Other than putting your hands on your waist to help facilitate that diaphragmatic breathing, breathe in and out only through your nose and try to shoot for a 1-to-2 ratio inhale to exhale. So maybe, for example, 3 seconds in and 6 seconds out. Oh, okay. That ratio will help calm your central nervous system to help relax any of the tight musculature you have. So those 3 are huge. Okay, definitely make sure to do those. Now, you mentioned, and I want to reread this part for people listening, right? Because I think a lot of people could benefit from this, is that, what exercises can you do to correct hip flexion? But you also say, I also sit 8 hours a day, so I know that doesn't help. Well, you are absolutely right. So if I give you half an hour of exercise to do, which is coming up, so stay tuned, and you do that, but then for every half an hour out of 24 hours, you do exercise that improves hip extension, right? Which is the opposite of hip flexion. So it's going towards where you want to go, right? It's improvement. But then you sit down in hip flexion, because when you sit down, you're flexed at the hip at 90 degrees, right? So if here's your torso, there's your hip, there's your knee, and there's your foot on the ground, so there's your ankle. You're 90 degrees, and then maybe even you slouch and you're even in more flexion. 8 hours worth. Put it on one of those, levelers, excuse me, that was my phone. If you weigh them out, the 30 minutes can never outweigh the 8 hours of sitting. So knowing that is change the way you're sitting. And 8 hours a day sitting, I'm assuming that's work-wise. So, and also not here to say that sitting is bad. I'm not even saying that standing is the answer. Everybody asks me, how should I sit, or how should I stand, or what position should I get in? And I would say that's the wrong question to be asking, because a lot of people is looking for what is the optimal stagnant position that I can put myself in. And the answer is it isn't. You want to transition from position to position as much as you can. Actually, as I'm saying that, I've been sitting here for a bit, so I'm going to put one leg up on the chair and sit like this. Sorry, I hit the tape a little bit, but I think we're good. So I'm going to sit like this. And in another couple minutes, you may see me switch legs or sit in a diva pose or cross-legged, what have you. But this is what I would recommend for you, is switch between standing, kneeling, sitting on the ground, and just regularly switch positions, okay? Don't get stuck in any one position. Try not to be in any one position for more than about 20 to 25 minutes during that 8 hours, okay? Now, I know some workplaces are moving towards standing desks. That's great. Some of them go up and down. Some of them stay in one point. But just try to move around, because it's the movement that you're going to benefit from the most versus just the exercise. Okay. The other things I would recommend to check out, I mean, definitely do that. Just stand, sit, kneel, move around. And then what I recommend, and this is what I recommend to most people, I just want to be clear why, is to sign up for the Optimize Self Dojo. And before everybody, because I know online a lot of people go, oh, he's already sold out, he's telling me to buy something. Let me share with you my alternative motive, okay? Is I want people to come inside, because if I share with people exactly what they should do, it would take roughly 3 months. I would literally have to do a 3-month video program with them, just for them, for every person, which obviously is not realistic. Even if I had the time and did it all for free, it's just not possible. Okay, so what I put together inside the dojo is a what I refer to as the Optimize Self Arsenal, which are a combination of tools, guides, resources, of information and video tutorials and everything that go deeper and wider into all this that we're talking about. Two of which I think would be really good for you is guides on how to work pain-free at your PC. That one's really good, as well as ones that share with you how you should be standing and sitting. Those are video tutorials, and those are found inside the Optimize Self Arsenal, which is found inside the Optimize Self Dojo. So if you want to learn all about what's included inside the dojo, just head on over to optimizedself dot, it's the dot there, dot ninja, not .com, dot ninja. I know that's odd, but I just want to make that clear. .ninja, and check out everything that's included. But I guarantee you that, like right now, you can sign up. I think for it's like $11 or $12. It's really, really, really the best time to get in. And just in the first year, there's over $3,650 worth, and that's just in the first year. And you're getting a lifetime membership access. But even if you were to pay full price for it, which the final membership this year will cost $365, you're going to at least get 10 times what you paid for it. So what I tell people is come in, take a look around, interact with myself and the other ninjas and ninjettes in there. If you don't like it for whatever reason, in 30 days, more than happy to give you your money back, because truly, and I'm sure I can speak for the other Optimized Self ninjas and ninjettes, we only want people that are enthusiastic about optimizing each and every one of their foundations of health, being the best version of themselves possible, so that then together we could go out and positively influence the world. That's what we're all about. So definitely check that out, because there's some more extra stuff I'd love to share with you here. I just don't have the time to. And that's the other benefit, is inside the dojo, there's things that are recorded, there's video tutorials, there's built-in accountability and support group. Again, because everything's recorded, it's here. You can watch it again and again and again. So there's repetition. Combine the accountability and support group with the repetition, and you've got that total immersion type of style learning, which I've never seen fail for anybody on any topic, whether they're talking health, fitness, finances, nutrition, doesn't matter. It works, So definitely check that out. And last but certainly not least, I will make sure to link this up in the exercise, I'm sorry, not the exercise notes, in the show notes below over on YouTube, is a link to an exercise called supine groin stretch. And it's going to really help get your hip into extension and out of flexion. Okay, it's one position. It's a unilateral exercise, or it's not even exercise. It's a position you go in. You'll have one leg up on a block. And I'm going to include a link to a video tutorial, so it'll show you how to do this. My wife and I, wife from Poland, will show you how to do this. But basically, you're laying down on the ground, one leg up on a chair or ottoman at 90 degrees, right? Just resting on it. The other leg flat out, something blocking the outside of the foot so it doesn't, roll out to the outside like I'm sure your foot does when you say go to sleep or lie down. They kind of, right? Something blocking the outside of the foot. And you simply lie there for 15 minutes per side. You can stay there long if you want, but 15 minutes per side. And what that exercise does is allows, keyword there, allows, not forces, but allows your hip flexors and other internal, external rotators of your hip to release and go back to the normal length and tension. And that's going to return your pelvis to a neutral position. And that's going to then segmentally allow your
each vertebra, starting from your lower back to your mid back to your upper back, all the way to your shoulders, to go back into their natural position. Okay, so you might go there and go, wow, this is like, am I really doing anything? I'm just lying here for a total half an hour, right? 15 minutes per side. But believe you me, it is huge. Literally, I've actually done video tutorials on this exercise. I can do presentations just on that one thing and all the benefits you get out of it for 2+ hours. It's amazing. So check out the link to the supine groin stretch and give that a try. But yeah, also come inside the dojo, check out again the how to work pain free at your PC, how you should be sitting and standing, all those video tutorials. There's some more stuff on breathing, hydration, sleep, and all the other foundations of health, all of which I think you'll find very, very beneficial. Okay, so Derek, hopefully that helps you out, probably even more than you were looking for on that. And by all means, I do not mean to overwhelm you. I definitely believe that everything should be as simple as possible, but not simpler than that, which is I'm probably messing up and paraphrasing from an Albert Einstein quote. But again, a lot of people focus just on the exercise or just on diet, or maybe those two at most. But again, I cannot stress enough that it's your overall lifestyle. You can't out-exercise poor lifestyle. You can't out-eat and out-exercise poor lifestyle. And by lifestyle, I mean all those foundations of health: breathing, hydration, sleep, nutrition, stress, movement, exercise, environment, mindset, all of it. Okay. So that's why I know I sound like a broken record or like a parrot or something, but it definitely bears repeating. So moving on to question number 2, Vincent writes in, I believe this is an email. I believe, yeah, Vincent and I have talked. Give me 1 second, Vincent. My mouth is dry. I swear I can hear through the door. It's because my wife's saying, because you talk so much. I really would prefer to have someone on the show with me. So if you want to come on the show, please join me. As much as I talk, I actually much rather prefer listen and also discuss and have a conversation. So if you want to come on the show and talk about whatever you need help with, or whatever you deem as important that you think others would learn from, I would love to have you on the show. Just contact me and we'll make it happen. Okay. Anyways, though, Vincent writes in and says, hey, Justin, hey, Vincent, again, your exercises / tips are helping. The hips and the upper back are getting looser. The lower back, especially the left side, that seems logical since I have a S scoliosis, lower back left and upper back right. That was in parentheses, seems to get tighter, or at least isn't loosening up. It really seems that this is really holding my progress for correcting my lordosis / scoliosis / kyphosis. Back, my pelvis is getting better, but the tightness in the lower back might have influence on the pelvis as well. In parentheses, he says, I don't know, but I could think that it does. Do you have any exercises / tips for loosening up my left lower back? Hoping to hear from you, Vincent. Yeah, Vincent, definitely. And for those of you that didn't follow along, basically, Vince and I had a conversation in the past. He has a combination of scoliosis, lordosis, kyphosis. Am I missing anything? No. And how he was saying how some things are improving, but his lower back, I believe on the left side, is still tight. And what can he do to loosen up, basically, is what I gather from reading that. Hopefully you guys do too. And Vincent, hopefully that's what you mean. And I'm not misreading that. So step 1, I'm going to be saying this all the time. And again, it's just so that I can help you better, is go over to optimizeself.ninja, take the Optimize Self test. And I think that'll help clarify for you, but it'll definitely help me so I can answer this better, right? I'm challenging you to ask, to give me more information and to ask me better questions. So then that challenges me to then give you better answers, right? It's kind of fun. It's kind of like ping pong back and forth. So head on over to optimizeself.ninja, take the Optimize Self test, and that'll help you determine which of the foundations of your health you are strong or weak in, and which we need to look to improve first and foremost. Prioritize, I guess, simple way of saying.
So first of all, actually, just like Derek, I would recommend practice diaphragmatic breathing. Okay, that's that east-west breathing. And if Vincent, if you're going, okay, what did you say to Derek in the YouTube video? Which, for those of you that don't know, I'm going to quickly show this just so you know. Do a quick screen share here. If you go to, excuse me here, if you're on the Optimize Self show and you're watching an episode, this was the last episode. Hi, people. That's me. And you want to watch this over on YouTube, just click this and it'll open up the YouTube version, okay, over on YouTube. And in the show notes, okay, I have a link to OptimizeSelf.ninja. Any mentioned links I'll have in here, and then timestamps, okay? And this will refer to the topic and or the person who asked the question, which would then be the topic that we discussed, and you can click and it'll take you to Lisa, that time, okay? Like I just clicked 9:42 and it took me to there, okay? So just so you guys know, that's how that works. All right, let's go back here. So yeah, Vincent, about the Optimize Self thing, I'll put a timestamp about my answer to Derek and the diaphragmatic breathing. Definitely check that out as well. Because the same thing, I would recommend practicing the diaphragmatic breathing. And this actually goes for both Vincent and Derek. So Derek, hopefully you're still watching. You can do that in the static back position, which is an easy one, and I'll put these links in the mention links. Static back is good, supine groin stretch, but also if you find yourself the belly protruding, right? Oops, excuse me there. Oop. If you find the belly going this way, right, you find it difficult to breathe out to the sides and into your lower back, then you can do what's known as a drape. And basically what you do is you find a chair or an ottoman, or even stack up some blankets or some cushions, maybe sofa cushions that come out, and drape your body forward so that your stomach, your abdomen, is pressed into it. So there's nowhere for your stomach to go out. And since it's blocked, you'll actually feel the air expanding to your sides and into your lower back. And just like I mentioned to Derek, Vincent, this will help bring more blood and oxygen to the lower back and feed slack to that tight lower back. And what I recommend is doing so in that drape position for 3 minutes at a time, in and out through your nose, 1-to-2 ratio, inhale to exhale, 3 times a day. So like breakfast, lunch, dinner, or beginning of day, middle day, end of day, okay? So that's what I would first recommend. Also, like I mentioned to Derek, make sure to check out the, oh no, I'm sorry, didn't make mention of this one. Let me see. Sorry, lost my place. Oh, no, I did not make mention of this to Derek. But Vincent, there are also, in addition to the diaphragmatic breathing, there are also breathing routines inside, excuse me, let me correct this, inside the Optimize Self Dojo, okay? And so again, I know you're not in there, but if you would like to join, then you can do so. Go over to OptimizeSelf.ninja. You can see all the things that are included in there, and you can sign up through there. And yeah, there's more emphasis on breathing. And again, the reason for breathing and how you might be going, okay, how is that going to work for my lower back? It's because the diaphragm ties into your lower back, okay? And just keep in mind that the average human takes 22 to 30,000 breaths per day. And so that's a whole lot of movement in your lower back and a lot of blood and oxygen flowing to that area that if you're not breathing correctly, that you're not benefiting from, right? So you'll be feeding more blood and oxygen to your lower back and loosening it up. The other thing too is with things like scoliosis, is if you're not breathing correctly, I guarantee you there's a disconnect between your shoulder girdle and your pelvic girdle, right? Your torso and your hips. And so what breathing will do is help reconnect that kinetic chain between your hips and your upper body, right? Kind of some
body workers refer to it as the X, right? Because you have your torso, kind of your midsection, which sits between shoulder girdle and pelvic girdle. So optimizing your breathing will also help with that. So I think that pretty much covers that. Oh, as well as optimizing hydration and sleep. Vincent, just like I made mention to Derek, you want to shoot for half your body weight, 8 ounces of water, of pure water, because if your lower back is tight and it's not properly hydrated, it can't fully release, right? It's like dried up beef jerky, and you want to hydrate it to get it back to nice, supple filet mignon. Okay, easy as that. Also, too, hydration. If you find you're just peeing it all out, add some pink Himalayan salt to it, and that will help with the absorption. Okay, you don't have to add a lot. You can either add a little in your water or just sprinkle it over your food, and that will help with the absorption. Okay, that covers hydration. And then sleep. Vincent, I forget honestly if we ever talked about this, about sleeping position, but knowing that you have the scoliosis, and I've never really met anybody without scoliosis who sleeps predominantly on their back. They usually sleep on their side. Just think that, and this goes for anybody, even people without scoliosis who are listening or watching, so don't tune out, but sleeping on your side is going to lead to asymmetries, because when you sleep on your side, the mattress is going to be how do I say this? The forces, right? Gravity, your body weight, the floor is going to be pushing on one side of your body asymmetrically versus the other side. That's going to lead to things like an elevated hip, thoracic offset, where the spine shifts to one side, which I know doctors and other people refer to as scoliosis. Maybe rotation, because you have one arm here and it rotates one shoulder in but not the other. So what I would recommend is try to sleep on your back with either 0 or 1 pillow under your head and 1 to 2 pillows under your lower legs. And what that'll do is put your pelvis and your lower back in a neutral position. It'll feed slack to your lower back. And if you find, here's a good test, if you lay down on your back and you find you need to adjust, like put one foot, the bottom of the foot up to the inside of the opposite leg, or do something like that to get comfortable, put more pillows under your legs until you feel, I'm here, I'm stationary, and I don't feel like I need to fidget to get into a comfortable position, because that will tell you, okay, now it's elevated enough. For most people, it's 1 or 2 pillows. Every once in a while, sometimes people need 3 or 4, depending on their height, depending on the length and tension of their muscles. I was thinking about depending on one other thing. I think I said 2, depending on their height. So usually 1 or 2 pillows under the lower legs is fine. Sometimes 3 or 4 is necessary, but play around with it and see. Sleeping position is huge, because right, it's what you do the majority of the time that matters, not your best intentions, and you sleep a lot more than you exercise, or at least you should be, I hope. If not, that's a problem. All right, so that covers Vincent's question. Let's move on to question number 3. Before we do, I'm going to grab some more water. All right. Jacob asks, hello, Justin. We have spoke before, I believe I remember. I spoke before, however, not in this chat format. I was even able to send you pictures of my posture, and you were able to tell me my psoas is long and taut. I appreciate the work you put into these videos. I just had a quick question. I was wondering what the main difference between the, with some quotations, don't confuse hip flexor weakness for tightness routine and the condition 1 long and taut athlete routine. Oh, there's another quotation there. Basically asking what the difference between those 2 routines was, so that I can practice the one that is right for me. Thank you for your time. All right, good question. Let me check one thing. No, I closed it, never mind. Give me 1 second, because I want to make sure I'm addressing the right thing. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Okay, cool. So, Jacob, like I recommended everybody else, if you didn't see their segment where I answered their question,
is so that I can better help you and give you better recommendations on how to proceed. Head on over to optimizeself.ninja and click on the button just under the video that says, believe it says, click here to uncover what's holding you back, or to take the optimized self test and uncover what's holding you back. Click there, sign up, get the link in your email, take the optimized self test, and that will help both you and I determine what foundation your health, or foundations of health, we need to work on. What's the low hanging fruit that we could improve the simplest, fastest on to get you the best results, right? What's the minimum effective dose? What's the smallest amount we can put in, the 20%, to get the biggest result, the 80%, right? So start with that. Let's see. Also, if you haven't, Jacob, definitely go back and watch the answers for Derek and Vincent on them, because I mentioned the breathing, hydration, and sleep. So definitely things, the more I know about you, again, the more precise answers I can give you. That's why I'm recommending everybody go to the Optimized Self, take the Optimized Self test, so then I can give you better answers. But not knowing that, definitely go watch those. Address your breathing, hydration, and sleep. And I'll try to add timestamps in the YouTube description below. Let's see, what else? Oh, about the 2 routines, okay? And so you guys, those watching that aren't Jacob, know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna go over and do a screen share so that we're all on the same page, not just Jacob and I, and everybody else is going, what the heck is he talking about? Again, I used to run, I guess we can say I still own, I just don't do any more work for, adding to it, a website by the name of thepostureguy.com. And he was asking between these 2 posts, one here, it says tight hip flexor routine for those in hip extension. And there's these 4 exercises. And there's another one over here, short and tight versus long and taut athletic posture types. And there should be a video there. Don't know why there isn't. And there's these exercises here, and each one of these opens a video tutorial, and he's asking what the difference is. Well, really, the outcome that we're looking for is the same, just differently worded. And as you can see, this one is definitely more thorough, the athlete one, versus this one. Now, I'm all about minimum effective dose, so I would say start with these. It's only 4 exercises. It takes less time. And then test and retest. See how you feel before, and then do these exercises, then see how you feel after. If you get the desired results from these 4 exercises, then I would say stick with that. If you feel you need more, especially in way of stability from your gluteal muscles, both maximus, which is more the back, and medius, which is more the lateral, the outside, then go ahead and do this. This is both more time and more effort. And if you need this, then go ahead and do this. The outcome is the same that we're shooting for. Again, this one's just more thorough. It's longer. It's more exercises. Okay? So hopefully that helps answer your questions. I think there was more. Give me 1 second here and we'll get out of screen share. All right, and we're back. Let's see. Yeah, and most importantly, this goes to Jacob and anyone else watching, is remember that it's what you do the majority of the time that matters, i.e. your lifestyle, how you breathe, drink, eat, sleep, move, interact with your environment, your positive and negative stressors in your life, how you train your body, your mind to react to those stressors, and all those things that matter more, rather than your best intentions, which may be to out exercise this symptom. Exercises are great. Please hear me. I'm not against exercise. I'm only against premature exercise, which is a lot of people will look at, and I have to admit, I brought this upon myself as, the posture guy, is, hey, what exercise should I do to correct maybe this leaning to the side, this offset, for example. And it's, oh yeah, sure, you can do sitting or standing
windmills, and you can do arm circles. You can do all these exercises, right? So maybe I give them 5 exercises. They go, oh, great, that's great. But that's 15, 20 minutes a day, and maybe sometimes they do it even twice a day. So now we're up to 30 minutes, and okay, that was weird. I think we're being robbed. So that takes 30 minutes a day extra than the things they were already doing, where instead, sorry, people are yelling out there, it's very distracting. Instead, if I say, okay, well, just go ahead and work here. And this was always great when people didn't know I was watching them. Yes, a little stalkerish. But I used to do this when I worked in a clinical setting in San Diego. Is I would kind of sneak around the corner. People would, I would get told, oh, your 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock appointment would come in. Okay, and especially for the first time meet them, before I introduced myself, I'd kind of peek my head around the corner and watch, how are they sitting, how are they moving. If they sit for long, are they crossing one leg over and not the other? Because they don't know I'm assessing them. If I meet them and then later on do a posture evaluation, they're very conscious of, oh, he's evaluating my posture, he knows. But for example, if I were to see someone sitting, right, and they were offset to one side, yes, we can do exercise to correct that. But if we do half an hour of exercise and for 8 hours they're sitting offset, right, they're leaning to one side, they're using the mouse here and like this, well, 30 minutes of exercise isn't going to make up for or counter 8 hours of sitting like this. But you know what will? Is simply sitting more upright and in the center. And I know that means seeing people go like, oh, really? Like, that's all you have to do? And yeah. And then, quite frankly, doing that, you most likely won't even need to do the exercises, okay? So think about what starts it in the first place and correct that, rather than trying to do more exercise, do something harder, or do something longer, okay? So that goes for Jacob and everybody else. Not that was keyed and focused on you, Jacob. I don't know. Not picking on you or anything. So anyways, hopefully that help answers your questions. And then one final one, and this is a follow-up from someone who's inside the dojo, Nivas, who wrote in, this is on Facebook. So this is kind of a continuing conversation we're having, but I think the question he asked was very good and that I want to share with you guys. And that is, he said, at 5'10" on this video, it was a live training, I believe we did, so don't worry about which video they're talking about. It's not important. He says, at 5'10" on this video, you had requested me to post a question to the PT, or physical therapist, and I got back an answer from him. He told me, and this is a reference to flat feet, he told me there are 2 types of flat feet. Idiopathic, which for those of you that don't know, simply means they don't know, or lifestyle cause. So idiopathic or lifestyle cause. He kind of did not give me a straight answer and rather told me to check with my father, mother, and grandfathers and grandmothers to see if any of them have the same flat feet problem. And I thought this was important. It's something I haven't actually spoke on in a while, but I think is definitely important because oftentimes people come to me and say, oh, my feet, my back, my hip, shoulder, whatever, it's genetic. It runs in the family, bad backs or flat feet or what have you. And although epigenetics does play a role, right, it's a lot less. Things like birth defects and things like that are a lot less common than most people make it out to be. Usually what it is form follows function, and it's more along the lines of, we've all gotten before, hey, oh, you sound just like your dad, or you look just like he does this, you do this thing like they do. And what's interesting then is, we get those mannerisms things because as children, who do we imitate? We look to learn how to walk, how to speak, mannerisms, manners and things like that. Well, it's our parents, right? And that's all good and fine. But here's the thing. If your mom or dad or grandparents have flat feet, and as a child, unbeknownst to you, right, subconsciously though, you watch how they walk and you mimic them, and now you start walking how they walk. Form follows function, remember.
So how you move dictates how the position of your body, your posture, and how it relates with your environment. So if you move like your parents, your grandparents, you're then going to eventually, as you age, total health being accumulative, you're going to look how your parents and or grandparents look, and you're also going to feel like your parents and grandparents. So look to your parents and look to your grandparents. If you like what you see and you like what you hear in terms of how they report how they feel, I feel great. If your grandparents or parents have, tons of vitality and energy and they don't have any chronic pain, watch them and copy them. Do what they do. But if they have a lot of chronic pain, if they have flat feet and you don't want flat feet, if they're overweight, if they're, not happy, if they're, just like, ugh, like always low energy and everything, then don't do what they do. Because if you do what they do, you're going to get what they have. In this terms, for Nevis, flat feet. Okay. So be cautious of who your mentors are, and that's saying nothing bad about parents. Every parent has great stuff to share with their children, same as grandparents. Maybe it's something on morals or finances, but maybe, and they probably don't even know that they did, teach you poor walking skills. And so they may have flat feet. And so by you copying them, again, it started at such a young age, you most likely were not aware of it, but you look to them as your walking mentor, coach, or teacher, that you started walking like they did, so now you're developing the same things, if that's the case. Okay, so I just thought that was important to share with Nevis as well as everybody else, and I think that pretty much covers everything. Yeah, so final review. Like I said, if you haven't already, whether you're in the dojo or not, then to the Optimize Self.ninja website, take the Optimize Self test, because the more information that I have on you in terms of your lives and everything, the better. I think really that'll actually lead to you asking better quality questions. And by quality, I mean with more information given to me, then I can give you better quality answers back to you. All right, that's what this show is all about. And I want to provide as much service, as much value to you guys. And to do that, I just need more information from you guys. Okay. And also just remember that, you cannot exercise your way to optimal health, fitness, or wellness. Okay. Total health is accumulative. And remember, your body is a unit. So you owe it to yourself and your body to treat it as such. It's a stimulus response organism that responds to stimulus 24/7 without prejudice. So it's what you do the majority of the time that matters, not your best intentions. Okay. And again, we can go a lot deeper and a lot wider. And if you're interested in that, as well as the built-in accountability and support that comes with being a part of the Optimize Self Dojo, as well as access to the Optimize Self Arsenal, which has tools, guides, resources, and more to help you get from where you are now to where you want to be, achieve whatever it is you want to achieve, whether it's getting out of pain, losing weight, building muscle, gaining strength, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, then I would strongly encourage you to join me and Nevis and some of the other Optimize Self Dojo members, as we refer to ourselves as ninjas and ninjets. Join us inside, and I really truly believe that you're going to like what you find inside, and we would love to have you as a part of the family, because really with each and every member, the value inside exponentially grows. And what I love seeing is people helping other people. That's why I'm putting the dojo together, because truth be told, there's times I got to sleep and I can't be available 24/7. I love getting in there and interacting with people, but it's really neat to see that sometimes when I'm not, because we have people from all over the world inside, when I'm not, someone else may step up to help another person. And that's really cool, because also I think one of the best ways of learning something is by teaching someone else. So I look forward to seeing you guys inside the dojo. I look forward to you, greeting someone who's then newer than you, and helping them on their journey towards, enjoying leading a pain-free and active life without limitations. I look forward to all that. So anyways, I want to thank you guys for joining me inside today's show. It was awesome. I really appreciate it. And as I get a little bit better at these live events and adding annotations later down the line, ideally each of these buttons, the subscribe and enter the dojo, I will get around to adding to, so each of these link up to something so you can find out more about about me, about the Optimize Self system, like we talked about, taking the Optimize Self test, if you're interested in working with me one-on-one, all that kind of stuff. Okay. Anyways, I look forward to seeing you guys inside the next episode or inside the dojo, like I mentioned too earlier. But until then, thank you so very much for your time and interest today. Love you guys, and I look forward to seeing you inside the next episode. Until then, take care and be a good human.